Alright, what's up everybody? Back again today doing part 3 of my intro to nerd merchandise collecting video series. I still, for the life of me, cannot remember the formal name of it that I put in the title on the videos on YouTube, so please forgive me. But as you can see today here, we're going to be talking about Masters of the Universe classics. So out of every single toy line, collectible merchandise line that I collect, this is the newest one for me, and I've only been collecting these for about a month or maybe two, but as you can see, I've already acquired a number of them. I've got a lot of the main core characters: He-Man, Skeletor, Evil-Lyn, Man-at-Arms, Teela's back there, Stratos, She-Ra, Hordak, and Merman's back there as well. And then I've also got Chief Carnivus because I found him, and honestly, he's one of the coolest looking, most well sculpted Masters of the Universe Classics figures that exists. So, what do we have to say about these? This is the definitive toy line for Masters of the Universe. I don't care what anyone says. There's always gonna be collectors out there who are they've made a commitment to collect vintage stuff. So to them, the best, the most definitive toy line for something or collectible line for something is always the original line from its inception. I don't know. As far as I'm concerned, that's just simply not true. This is the definitive collectible toy line for Masters of the Universe. Uh, it's like the Marvel Legends of Masters of the Universe. So they are 7 inches tall. They're around 7-inch scale. They all feature pretty much the exact same body mold with a few sculpted details that are different. Like Man-at-Arms has some armor and whatnot. Skeletor's feet are not the same as everyone else's, but pretty much every male and every female character share the same body mold. This was done in an attempt to keep the line affordable, and even then it's still, especially in this day and age, it's still not affordable. And that is mainly because this toy line can no longer be found just on the shelves of your average retailer. You're not going to find these in Walmart, Target, Best Buy, Walgreens, Kmart, GameStop. You're not going to find them. This line started in 2008, and it has pretty much concluded. There are rumors of it starting up again in kind of like a new form called Masterverse, but as of right now, this line is over, and it's not necessarily a bad thing because Mattel is the one who did this line. And they pretty much did every single character from Masters of the Universe. They did a figure for every single character possible. They did variants of characters. There are multiple different He-Mans and Skeletors and Hordaks and Evil-Lyns in this line. There's multiple Man-at-Arms. So they definitely did the line thoroughly. They even did vehicles and playsets. There's a Castle Grayskull playset. There's a bunch of different vehicles. There's a Snake Mountain playset in the works. I think that kind of got held up both by COVID-19, and it also got held up because the line pretty much just went down, and they just decided we're done with it. Both Mattel and Super 7, which is the company that took these over from Mattel, have pretty much decided they're done. The Super 7 is done. They're not making any more in this scale, at least not for the time being. And then Mattel has returned to making a 5.5-inch scale version of Masters of the Universe action figures, which is just ridiculous. I could go on and on about that. I think we all know how we feel. We wish they would have kept going with stuff like this, but they did not. So with these, you're going to get a ton of detail. The posability and articulation it's good. It's definitely good. It's not the best. It's definitely not as good as Marvel Legends. We're looking at single joints in the elbows and the knees, and whatnot. But you are getting great sculpt and great paintwork. The quality control on these things is top notch. The ones that I have purchased mint on card, and I've opened them up and taken them out of the box, I have yet to open up one and find a paint defect or a sculpting defect. They're all pretty much perfect. They actually really took their time and made these very well. Now, it was Mattel that was producing and distributing these, but this is back during that era where the Four Horsemen was working very closely with Mattel. The Four Horsemen did the sculpt for these. The Four Horsemen essentially made them, and then Mattel sold them in a weird way. That's a very simplified explanation of how it went, but it'll do. So yeah, Mattel sold them, the Four Horsemen made them, and since then, the Mattel and the Four Horsemen have gone their separate ways, and Mattel is producing their own. They're back to 5.5-inch scale figures, but the fact that the Four Horsemen worked on these explains why they turned out so well. The Four Horsemen are some of the best toy makers around right now. If you look, Skeletor has his eyes look like they're actually glowing red. That's how well they did the painting inside there. Some of them do come with like gimmicks. This Hordak is not just a normal Hordak. It's supposed to be Buzzsaw Hordak, so like his chest plate opens up and he would have like a buzz saw that would come out of his neck and kind of rotate and roll around. I don't give a shit about those gimmicks. I just wanted a Hordak, and as long as you have the chest plate up, this is a normal Hordak, so I bought it. And then I do have one confession to make. This Battle Cat, this is not the Masters of the Universe Classics Battle Cat. It's from the Origins line. So this is the Battle Cat that they put out recently with the when Mattel went back to making 5.5-inch figures. I saw it in the store and I thought, that looks like the same scale as Masters of the Universe Classics. This looks like it was scaled to a 7-inch figure. And sure enough, if we kind of set that down there, I'll take He-Man. If you put He-Man next to it, it is in fact big enough. So the Origins Battle Cat does fit well with the Classics toy line. The only thing I did differently with the Origins Battle Cat was I took the saddle and the helmet off, and I washed it with warm soapy water, and I gave it a coat of spray paint, because they had like almost like a very, very close to pink colored saddle and helmet. So I gave it the much more like maroon, reddish brown. It's a darker color. I think it fits better. I think it's more in line with the original. So yeah. But yeah, out of all the toy lines I collect, this is probably my second favorite. And the only reason I'm going to say second and give the number one slot to Marvel Legends is because Marvel Legends are just much more readily available. They're on they can be found in almost every major retailer, and these cannot. Also, with that, since you're always going to be buying these secondhand from either your collector stores where they've been sold to the collector store by the people who bought them originally, so they're going to be marked up in price. I think this guy usually goes for around $200. Tila was around $200. He-Man was $75. Skeletor was $75. Stratos was $75. See here, Merman was $75. So they're not cheap. There are some characters in this line that are just more obscure, and therefore they go for like $30 to $40. Maybe sometimes even like $25 to $30. But the big name characters, like the ones you see in front of you, they're all rather expensive. And if you're wanting to be like a real completionist and really get into this toy line, and you're thinking you're going to want to buy some of the vehicles and playsets, stand by, because the Castle Grayskull playset, they only released a specific amount. You know, this toy line eventually became subscription only. If you were not subscribed to MattyCollector.com, you did not get any of these figures sent to you in the mail. And the Castle Grayskull was one of those things. They only made as many Castle Grayskulls as they had subscribers. So you can find the Castle Grayskull playset for this line on eBay, but it is like, they're all anywhere from like $1,200 to $1,500. Now, me personally, I just say screw it. I can live without a Castle Grayskull. I'm not paying $1,200 to $1,500. But if you've got the money like that and that's what you want to do, maybe this is the toy line for you. I don't know. But I really enjoy them. I find them fun to collect, and especially while them not being found in major retailers, it is kind of a bummer. It makes, when you do finally hunt one down, or you go into like a comic book hobby shop, collector's shop, and you see some of these like in a glass case or on the wall, you get that much more like thrilling excitement feeling of you're like, ooh, like they actually have some. I found some. Maybe I'll find one that I've been looking for a really long time, or maybe they'll have one that like I've until now it's always been too expensive whenever I've seen it. Maybe they'll have one that's in my price range. So they're harder to track down, but that feeling, that rewarding feeling of finding one and adding it to the collection is just made better by that. So if you are a Masters of the Universe fan, or if you just want a cool, well sculpted, well painted toy line to collect, this is a good one. They all come with a lot of accessories, appropriate accessories, like Stratos right there, that blue and gray dude. He's the only one that really didn't come with any accessories because he's just kind of himself. Like everyone else comes with spears or staves or swords and shields and maces and little laser pistols and different stuff. Masters of the Universe, if you don't know, is a crazy, crazy narrative and universe. It combines elements of fantasy and science fiction without thinking of at all about trying to make any sense of it. So you've got people wearing high-tech sci-fi battle armor with laser pistols, but then you've also got this like cosmic superhero barbarian warrior who wields a sword and a shield, and this guy over here is a dark evil sorcerer. He's like a technomancer. It's crazy. So Masters of the Universe has a little something for everybody. I highly recommend you look into it, especially, like I said, if you're just looking for a good toy line to collect that's really well painted, well sculpted. The only problem is, like I said, they're going to be kind of hard to find, and when you do find them, they are going to be expensive. So yeah, that's my take on the Masters of the Universe Classics toy line. Let me know what you guys think, if anyone can think of any good points, pros, and cons that I forgot to mention. Leave some comments below. If you like the video, please give me a like. Think about maybe subscribing to the channel. As always, check out the Facebook page, The Chad Nerd. And other than that, I will see you guys next time.